Hello, Mr. Beard here with your class recap for Wednesday, October 3rd. We started today with our bell ringer, which was a journal. Our journal was kind of a free write. I like to call this paint writing or limited objective writing, which means we have to write that has something to do, write about something that has to do with this painting right here. I give you some options. It could be the first time you went to the lake, and the first time you went on a boat ride, or you can make up a story or poem that is in some way connected to this scene. This is good because it forces us to be creative but have an objective in mind. Sometimes it can be intimidating to just say, okay, write about whatever. Because then we're just staring at a blank page with no end goal in sight. So I found limited objective writing to be really helpful for me personally as a writer, and I think the kids today really had some great journal entries. After that, we moved into a sentence fluency game. And the idea is that we have been looking at clauses and phrases with the end goal of increasing our sentence fluency in our own writing. We write a lot of sentences that look just like this. I ran from the ghost. And that's fine. There's nothing grammatically wrong with this sentence. It tells you what happened. But we can go a little more in depth, and not only that, when we have a bunch of sentences like this chained together, simple, independent clause-only sentences, our writing gets really stagnant and boring, and we've had that problem so far. So to increase this, we played this game with the end goal of using sentence fluency in our own writing. The game is this. We get a simple sentence, just like this one, I ran from the ghost, and then we roll some dice to see how many words we have to use or to add to this sentence using a clause or phrase. We use this site called random.org because it's a very useful site for generating random numbers. And so we're going to go ahead and roll the dice. See this live in action here as this dice rolls. And we get a number of 11. So we've got to add 11 words to this simple sentence. I ran from the ghost. And to be a little more specific about the rules, you cannot add anything within this clause. You cannot add any modifiers. You cannot add any phrases, anything like that. It must be added before or after this clause. So I kind of put myself on the spot with that one. 11 words, that was a little more difficult. But we were able to come up with a sentence here without changing the core sentence. So I changed it from I ran from the ghost to I ran from the ghost, but he followed me throughout the dark and winding mansion halls. This, but he followed me throughout the dark and winding mansion halls, is a dependent clause. They used a subordinating conjunction. Because it was 11 words, it pretty much forced me to add a clause. And throughout the dark and winding mansion halls is a phrase, the prepositional phrase within that clause. So this for students, we did this several times. Students came up with some fantastic sentences, many of them better than this one, more creative than this one. And that warmed us up for a writing prompt today, which was a graded prompt that will be graded on our core writing rubric. For this for this paper, we were only graded on 3 traits: ideas, organization, and sentence fluency, obviously, since we're just working on that. So ideas, organization, and sentence fluency were the only traits we will be graded on this prompt. I don't want to give you the prompt for those that were absent. You'll need to make that up in class. But it was a pretty common prompt, one that some students said they'd had before, which is great for me because really we want to focus on these 3 traits hard and adding as many details as possible with a clear beginning, middle, and an end. And of course, varied sentence length. After that, we then went into Odyssey projects. Now, on our class website, if you click on this here, the Odyssey Multi-Genre Writing and Multimedia Projects, I've got all the directions you need. I've got a Facebook sample page and a Twitter sample feed for those of you doing the media project options. So you can follow those rubrics and complete your Facebook page. Let's say you do a Facebook page for Odysseus, or you can do a Twitter feed, let's say for Penelope. But using those, not on actual Facebook or Twitter. You go ahead and use those templates because it is blocked at school. All right, well, that covers it for today. Thanks for listening. You guys have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.